Okay, so again, good morning, everyone. Today's session is going to be a very tight session. I want to make it as short as possible. I mentioned that before we started the recording. But before we do things, me personally, I like to get into a little bit of the context, like why we do things, look at some of the benefits and so on. So I'm going to share my screen. And before I do that, I want to also let you all know that my sessions, I try my best to make it interactive. All right. And by me saying the word interactive, it has so many ways to make sessions interactive. I'm going to keep it simple. I just want for you to feel free at any point in time to open your mic, turn it on, and ask questions. All right. I also acknowledge the fact that you all are experienced lecturers. You all have been doing this longer than I have, and you come here into these sessions with experiences. And I would love for you to share some of those experiences because I don't know everything. We all have something to contribute. So feel free to turn your mic on, raise your hand. If I'm not seeing the raise hand, turn your mic on. Put something in the chat. I'm looking at the chat, but sometimes when I go to share screen, I'm focusing on the shared screen. All right. But I do from time to time pay attention to the chat. And if you have something in the chat, you could turn your mic on and say that you have something in the chat. Let me know. All right. So I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to pull up some content that let me share some as well, that we have in another course called Settle 1001. And as we are talking about, you all seen my screen, by the way? Give me a thumbs up. Yeah. You all seen my screen? Yes, thank you very much. So as we are on the topic of quizzes, it's definitely part of assessment. Yeah. And for you, assessment can mean many things. But let's look at what some of the research is saying. Here, it's a systematic collection. It's an analysis of information to improve student learning. And I love this in particular because I don't see, for me personally, I don't see assessment as something being punitive. I don't see assessment as something that is supposed to be always hard. No, I'm being very careful with that word. I don't see assessment as something also always being extremely difficult. It doesn't mean that it eliminates that rigor, that academic rigor. It doesn't mean that. But I see it as something that is going to help students improve their learning. It's also something that could help them improve on achieving the learning outcomes stated for a session, stated for the course, etc. It's an ongoing process. And I'm also seeing here, it's a process of gathering data. Now, this data is something that you can gather as the facilitator in myeLearning when using quizzes to identify strengths and weaknesses of the student learning. But do you all think, tell me, is it just always about the student when it comes to gathering data? You tell me. Vera, what do you think? I'm going to call names.
Hi, good morning, Javed.
Good
Good
morning.
morning,
Morning.
everyone. So I am thinking that it's a means of you as the instructor, gaining information as to how well the lesson went, whether in fact learning occurred. Yeah.
Right. So that's information for you as the practitioner to know if you are being effective or not. So you can use an assessment to determine whether students are achieving the learning outcomes, and that helps you for the next session, the upcoming session, to know whether or not you need to reinforce you need to probably teach the entire topic again based on the results of the students. So we get information from assessments. Now, this is not an assessment workshop, but I just wanted to lay the foundation here for you when it comes to designing quizzes, when it comes to using quizzes, and when it comes to utilizing the data. Because sometimes we just run a quiz, students, they do the quiz, and they get their marks, and we're just concerned about that because we have so many things going on. But the data is there. You could always review it even after the semester. Even after the semester closes. You could go back if you have to teach a course. You can pull that data and see the muddy points, like where students are struggling, and see how you, in this next iteration of the course, could improve on your teaching and probably provide additional opportunities for students to engage and interact with the content that they are struggling with. So any questions before we move on? And this is something I'm going to do throughout the session as well. I say this in most of my sessions. At the end of almost all slides, I will ask if you have any questions, and I will not move until somebody gives me a thumbs up, a reaction, or says yes or no. Let me know. You have any questions before we move on?
No.
No. Thank you. Who said that?
Rian.
Iran. Okay. All right. Thanks for that. So let me share my presentation, and we are going to focus on the benefits. So I'm using Canva, and this is a really good presentation tool that you can use as well to create instructional materials, whether it is a presentation, an infographic, etc. So we still have persons coming in. Randy, you hearing me?
Yes, I'm in.
Okay. Do you know how to take off the notification song when persons are coming in?
Yes.
Okay, could you do that for me, please? I did not do it. And persons are still coming in. Thanks for that. All right, so some of the benefits. So when looking at Moodle quizzes, all right, so myeLearning is the Moodle platform. It's branded myeLearning at the university, at UWI. It offers a valuable tool online for you to create your assessments, and we spoke a little bit about assessments, to measure students' learning, but also contribute to the dynamic and interactive online learning experience. All right. It provides the detailed reporting. So we spoke about reporting when we mentioned assessments, data, getting that data and having a report. So Moodle will provide you with comprehensive reports for different things, in particular quizzes. It's going to give you that report on the student's performance. It's going to enable you to identify the strengths, the weaknesses within the class, or even an individual, because you can view the entire class performance and you can also view an individual performance. It provides you, for those of you who are new to this tool, it provides you with a variety of question types. So it's not only about creating a quiz that is multiple choice. You have true, false, drag and drop, fill in the blanks, etc. So it breaks the monotony. It gives the students a little option of responding differently. It gives you the ability to make things a little more exciting. Yeah. It provides, another benefit is flexible assessment. So with quizzes, you can use it as a formative assessment. And anybody wanna just quickly tell us what is a formative assessment? I'm sure you heard the word before, the term before. If you don't know the exact definition, that's fine. Formative assessment. Can turn your mic on.
Well, I just heard someone was going.
No, you go ahead. You go ahead. Thank you so much.
I think I heard something. Hi, good morning, everyone. Well, of course,
I thought I needed to send coffee for everybody there, you know.
to wake up everyone, I see.
Yeah.
Well, essentially, formative assessment is just again, it's an assessment, so it's a process of collecting information. However, it is collecting information while the course instructions are taking place. So it is during the course of the execution of the learning.
Right.
And teaching. Right?
Yeah, so essentially, you're right. All right, so formative assessment for learning. It is going to help you, the facilitator, pivot quickly if you need to during instruction. All right, so that is so correct. Thank you so much for that response. When it comes to quizzes in myeLearning, again, I think we did not mention the fact that it provides immediate feedback. I know you could set that. You have options. You could allow students to get feedback, not just feedback on their entire performance on the quiz, but feedback on a question. Ever did a online quiz and you select the incorrect answer and you got a prompt at the bottom of the question itself and the choices? You select the incorrect answer. When you hit next, a prompt comes up. Oops, why don't you check module so and so, perhaps just so and so, and you could customize that. That is a little bit of your voice getting into the online space, making things more student-centered and providing that immediate feedback, because at the end of it all, we want to help students. Remember, we want students to improve on their performance. So you have that ability there with Moodle quizzes. So students will get that instant feedback on their answers, allowing them to identify areas which need improvement if you utilize it in that way. And the last option we have here, enhancing learning. Quizzes can actively engage students with the course material, right? You wanna assess what you teach. So the assessment, you can craft it in such a way that you allow students to engage with the content. You want to encourage them to review, so you can have knowledge checks along the way in the form of a quiz, and also self-assessment. You can use quizzes to conduct or provide students with self-assessment opportunities. Any questions before we move to the next slide? No questions? Okay. So some of the uses, we mentioned it. One is self-check, all right? Short quizzes, you give students short quizzes. This could be very useful where at the beginning of a module to help students gauge their understanding of key concepts before going deeper into the actual concept. You can use it as a diagnostic assessment. You can use it as an anticipation guide, all of that. It allows you to also create practice opportunities for your students. How many of us do that? Allow students to go on the platform and do some practice quizzes before the final summative assessment. So you could create quizzes that would mimic the format, the style of the formal exam, and help them get prepared for the big day. Yeah, you have the opportunity to create interactive activities. So in your quizzes, designing your quizzes, you can use multimedia elements like image, audio. So it's not only a question in text format. You could have a audio with your voice, a voiceover. You could have a video for students to look at and respond to some questions. A graphic, an infographic. You can have them label something, all of that. All right, that is going to create an engaging and interactive online learning experience. And then we stuck in home assignments here. We know students don't really do anything much for marks, but still give them the opportunity to have that opportunity available for them. Utilize quizzes to deliver homework assignments and test the understanding or the comprehension of the concept or the learning outcomes, and encourage students to continue learning. Yeah. Any questions before we go into quizzes in myeLearning itself, the actual
Yes,
tool?
one question, if you don't mind.
No, I don't mind at
With regards to
all.
with regards to the practice exam, so what you're saying, we can create an edited clone version of the actual exam itself, so that students
Okay.
can interact with it before the real exam.
Wait.
I know
No.
the word edited clone version is
Yeah.
controversial.
No. Okay,
Okay.
so think about it like this. Year one students, they come. Year one students, fresh out of secondary school. Yes, they may have interacted with Google Classes, and you come as a facilitator, you come and you provide a test online for students to interact with. This is the first time they're going in Moodle, the first time they're going to interact with the quizzes tool. So what I'm saying is that you can use the tool to create like a mock test for them. I'm not saying to give them the actual test
of
before
course.
the test.
Yeah,
Right?
definitely.
Right. So I hope you understand.
Yeah,
That clears it up.
definitely.
Yeah. So you
Well,
you
that's
just give
essentially
them.
what I was asking, but perhaps I asked it in a different manner. But yes, that's
Okay.
essentially the same.
Yeah. So you can do that. You're the teacher. You can provide ample opportunities for your students to engage in the content and to engage in practicing skill acquisition, right? It could be a quiz, it could be a demonstration, it could be whatever, however you design your course. So you're the facilitator, you have that autonomy to do that. Yeah.
All right.
Any more questions before we go on?
Yes, Javid.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you mentioned an anticipated guide.
Anticipation guide. Yeah.
Yeah, could you
So
elaborate on that a little more, please?
So an anticipation guide is a resource, it's instructional material that you can use at the beginning of a session to allow students to test their understanding before, to do like a self-check before. So it might be a topic, and the anticipation guide is going to ask them questions about the topic itself, and they fill it out. Now, I don't have time to go and show you one, but I could send a sample for you after the session. So you can use this. You can use this anticipation guides. And you know what is even awesome? You can ask AI to assist you in developing those anticipation guides for your actual live sessions. You know, so you start the session off with an attention getter. You know, grasp the attention of the students, and this is one of the tools that you can use in your classes, right? Your live classes. It could be done online as well.
So is it like a pretest?
Yes, you could think of it as a pretest as well.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha. Thank you so much.
Yeah, but I don't really want to say, I don't really like the word test there, but it's a pre-something, a pre-activity before getting into it, because you're not just testing their knowledge, you're getting them to think critically about the content. Because remember, when we're teaching, we start with the known to the unknown. So in the anticipation guide, you are creating an opportunity for your students to draw from what was taught before and make some connections to the new material coming. Now, sometimes they know. So most times they know. A lot of times they know about the content. They don't know everything, but they have a little bit of knowledge. So that anticipation guide will help them with a starting point.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any more questions before we go into quizzes? No? All right. So adding a quiz. Now we have this famous button when you go to your course in myeLearning. Before we go through the slide, I'm letting you know that I would go through the steps, not everything in detail here or in slideshow, and then we'll go to the platform itself and do a live version of it. Okay. So when you go to your course in myeLearning, you click on your course style, you enter your course site, you have to turn edit on. Once you turn edit on, that's located at the top right of your screen. You can now scroll to the body of the page and look for that add an activity or resource link. You click on that and then you select quiz. When you select quiz, you will be faced with something very familiar if you are accustomed to using myeLearning. You want to be sure to enter the quiz name. You will not be able to save or move on if you don't do this. So put the name quiz here next to name, provide a description. I think it's not mandatory that you do it, but I think it's a good practice. This description, now you have the ability by clicking on the reveal more information or reveal more tools button located in the editor to put a description in verbal or audio format or full video format. It doesn't have to be text. So, you know, you help the students calm down before a quiz, because some people, they deal with tests differently. Some get anxiety and all of these different things. So you could calm them down before by providing a nice description, let them know about the tool, let them know how long the quiz will be, let them know that the quiz will end at so and so hour, how many hours, etc. All right, and also let them know about instances where if for some reason the quiz, you lose internet and something happens, let them know what will happen, what can be done, right? So you give the name and the description, you set the timing. This is very straightforward, but as you know, I like to ask that question. Do you have any questions regarding what is here on the screen?
Javed, it sounds silly here. Neil here, but I wonder
No,
how
no,
you
you're
got at
not.
this. How you got at this quiz thing? The quiz.
Oh, okay, no problem.
Don't worry,
So-
Neil. I was going to ask the same question.
Oh, good,
Okay,
good.
so I'm going to do a live demo, right? But I'm just getting you familiar with some of what you're going to see in the live demo before. When you enter your course, you have to turn edit on and then select add an activity or resource link. I'll show you in a few minutes where that is located. All right, but that's usually located in the body of the page, the website. All right, and when you click that, the activity picker will be presented, and then you select quiz.
Okay, good. Thanks.
Right, so when you select quiz, you must, anything with this red circle exclamation mark.
Morning, Javed. How are you doing?
Morning, sir. I'm good.
Right.
You
This
have
is
to
not
provide a
necessarily-
name. Go ahead. Mhm,
Paul Ash is the name. Just a quick question though, not necessarily to the quiz.
mhm.
Given you seem to be an expert on Moodle, when you click the edit button, what happens in terms of access for students? Does it change the access?
No, no. You can edit in a live session and it will not affect the student view. Students viewing your course will have no issues. It's not going to lock them out. It's not supposed to glitch. What could happen though is while you're editing, if you are creating something like you already set up an assignment, students could see it once you hit save. Once you hit that save button at the bottom of the settings, right? But if you don't want students to see it, you can hide that activity or resource until you are ready for them to see it.
No, I
It's-
understood that. I meant in terms of access to grades.
Great. Okay, so you have, no, it will not impact it. Students could access the grades in myeLearning if you make it available to them.
Okay. No,
Yeah.
I just wanted some clarity that during that period, it doesn't open any particular window to students that it would normally have insofar
No.
as access, and you seem to have addressed that.
No,
Okay,
no.
thanks.
You are the editor. You are the only editor. Students will only see what students are supposed to see.
Well, I'm glad you clarified that because
Yeah.
I remember having some discussions with a previous trainer on Moodle, and
Yeah.
the point that if the edit the ability to edit is open left open for a reason, it does provides opportunities for mischief by students. But you seem to suggest that's not possible.
No, based on my experience, I'm not an expert, by the way. I may be sounding like one, but I am not an expert. We have not experienced anything like that. I've been in sessions with lecturers who are editing in edit mode, and students are on the platform at the same time, and it's not having any conflicting issues or any of what you mentioned as well.
Thank you very much for that. Thanks a lot.
Yeah. All right, so I think it's pretty safe. So let's move on. Where I am, quiz settings. So we're still in quiz settings. So this is setting up the quiz. After you put the what was the last one? The timing. After you set your timing, you scroll down, and here is where you will now select the grade options. So you have options to allow a different type of grading method. You can allow students, now remember, we spoke about creating opportunities for students to master a concept. You can allow unlimited attempts, or if it's a final summative something, it's one attempt. All right, and then you can put the grade and then a category. Now, in a previous workshop, we spoke about categories. I don't want to confuse you guys, but I encourage you to check our website, check our YouTube channel, sorry, and go to that video on setting up your gradebook to get a good understanding of categories. Please remind me to at least show you how to set a category before we leave the session, just as a recap, and to also help you add some sort of structure to your assessments in the gradebook for students. All right. So right now, by default, it is always set to uncategorized. But if you have various categories, for example, you can have a quiz category, that's the title. When you click the drop down, you will see the word quiz, and then you put this quiz that you are creating for the first time under that category. So students will know if you have multiple quizzes, it will be a weighted score at the end of the course. It's going to calculate everything correct for you. All right, and then you have layout.
Jared,
yes.
Before you go on there though, you pause in the word attempts allowed unlimited. What kind of scenario would you give a student unlimited amount of attempts?
So for unlimited would be a quiz that is low stakes. All right, it may not carry any marks. It could just be something for drill and practice. And you allow them to attempt the quiz as many times as they want. Yeah.
Okay, fine. Because I can't imagine a real quiz would have scores and some, as you put it, there's no involved. But then
I mean,
unlimited attempts.
Yeah, you as the facilitator, and maybe before the semester starts, these are some of the discussions you will have with your coordinators and departments, etc. on the assessments. You could have a quiz, all right, and now that is determined by the group, all right. You can have a quiz for like 5 points or 5%. very low stake for students to have unlimited attempts. Now, that is not going to be equivalent to a final quiz, which carries probably 50%. So you can do that, but I know that for some it may sound strange, but at the end of it all, remember we spoke about at the beginning of the session, we want to use assessments as a tool to help students improve. So why not create opportunities using quizzes for students to improve on their acquisition of the learning outcomes or concepts? All right, set layout. You have this option. So new page, every question on a new page. I like this. I recommend using this option. Let students see one question at a time rather than seeing more than one and they feel overwhelmed. You know, you want them to focus on that one question. And then you have a navigation method. So the navigation method will allow the students, if you choose sequential, when you click the drop down, if you choose sequential, to force students to answer questions in a particular order, or if you leave it free, they can go back and forth, skip a question, and so on. Now that's up to you. I would recommend free. So students could go back and forth and make sure they attempt the ones that they know for sure and then come back to the one that they skipped.
Yeah,
Any questions? Yes.
Yes, Java. Just a point there though. I can understand the point you're making in relation to getting students familiarized with a quiz setting. But as you get closer to, like, where these marks are now beginning to matter, what this sequential does though, and it also has the option to well, let me not jump ahead, but it does allow a situation where once you've done that question, you're not allowed to go back. And the reason why it was suggested that is to avoid the issue of collaboration, especially where persons are online. So having done the quiz, you're not allowed to go back to the one that before. You have to keep going in terms of that sequential. So it does sort of minimize the impact of going back and forth in terms of allowing collaboration.
Yeah, I get that. I respect that too, especially if you're using one quiz and you're not pulling from a test bank and you don't have other mechanisms in place. I respect that. You can do that. Again, that's up to you. You're the teacher, you can do that. But if you're using a test bank and it's low stakes, you can allow them a little flexibility, change things up. But I mean, for the end of term quiz, the end of semester quiz, you might set up other mechanisms. And also, I think to further eliminate the opportunity for students to collaborate, because students going to collaborate, whether you select free or sequential, they still could collaborate using different means. All right, because they can pull their phones out and record their entire performance on the quiz and still collaborate behind. They can have a friend sitting next to them and do the quiz together. Students will be students. They have so many opportunities to do that. But what you can do to further lock down this type of collaboration is have students come into the live session in a lab or something, come in physically into a lab here at the campus and all do the quiz at the same time. You could try different mechanisms. I think different faculties, they do things like that. So you could choose what is working within your faculty as well.
Thanks for that.
Right.
And also
Yeah.
the need for shuffling, so they don't see the same thing at the same time.
Yes, you are correct. Definitely. So you're actually on that point here with the question behavior. I think this is not supposed to be here. It's an error. So for the question behavior, this will control how students will interact with each question. So you have feedback, retries, options to include immediate feedback, with retries. So you have those options here under deferred feedback, and you mentioned a shuffle within questions, so you can shuffle as well. Yes. All right. Forgive me for this screenshot. It's not supposed to be there. Review options. I don't want to take too much time on this. This is pretty much self-explanatory. And you have the option to click on the question marks to reveal more information. But ideally, this section will determine what information that they are going to see when reviewing the quiz, or past attempts, or even, yeah, so past attempts, so after they complete, or during the quiz. So you have during the attempt, you want students to review the feedback, whether it's correct, all of that. Or you want them to review the feedback after the quiz closes. Any questions regarding this?
Yeah, just coming back to the Java though, again, I mean, you can use the word low stakes, and as you get close to crunch time. If you get close to crunch time, you try not to have an answer available after the quiz, after they've done the attempt, because you're then not increasing the opportunity for mischief. And so therefore, where the stakes are high, it would be after the quiz is closed, when no one can then have the opportunity for collaboration.
Yeah, or in some instances, no opportunity to review anything.
No,
based on
not review, but in terms of the scores, because they must be able to see the scores.
Yeah, but I'm talking about reviewing the feedback. So like the correct answer, or which is the right answer, things like that.
I agree.
So you have right answer or general feedback, specific feedback. Some persons turn everything off based on the nature of the quiz. And you're free to do that. Enable completion tracking. Now, I recommend this feature, enable completion tracking, but before you actually enable activity completion, this needs to be turned on. Somebody please remind me as well to show you where to turn this on in course settings. You will only get this option if you enable it in course settings. All right, now this allows the teacher, the facilitator, the instructor to set a completion criteria in this particular activity. So criterion could be receiving a certain score. They must receive a certain score to get that completion status. The example here, students, this is one of the options I'm talking about. You can set this option. Students can manually mark the activity as completed. I don't like that one. This is they can just see the activity in the course site and click that button, done. But they really never did it. They didn't click on the activity, go into the material or the quiz. All right. Now, I think this is very useful for you and the student, because you can now go into your reports and check the activity completion report and see who actually completed. Because students, they come and they say, well, I did that, but they never really did. You could go on, you can verify. All right. So please remind me, I'll show you where that option is.
Yeah, well, I'm not following you here though. With a quiz that's time sensitive, that quiz will close when the time runs out. So
yeah,
what would be the purpose of this?
So the purpose of this is dual purpose. It's going to tell the student, let's talk about the student first, that this activity has to be done. because they're going to get in myeLearning a little tag, a green tag at the top of the activity or next to the activity, which says to do. So it gives them, before they even have access to the quiz, because remember you said everything is time sensitive. You have a start date and an end date. The activity could signal to them that they need to do this, but they don't have access to it until a specific time. So you want to be transparent as much as possible when designing your online material. All right. For you, you can see the report, as I mentioned before. You can see the report of who actually completed the activity. It doesn't just it's not just for quizzes, it's for any activity, hence the name activity completion. So any activity you add from the activity and resource picker will give you this feature in the settings. I hope I did not confuse you.
No, I was just thinking in the context of a quiz.
Yeah.
Because even at that, you can click on results and you will see what's happening in terms of which students have completed it and which students have not completed it.
Mm-hmm. But it's for them. It's for them primarily. It's for them because you have your workarounds. If you don't use it, you have your workarounds, right? But for the student, at the beginning of the semester, even before you before the semester starts and you build out your entire course site, on day one, students can see that this is an activity that they have to complete without you telling them that they have this activity to complete at a certain date and time, etc. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
If I could add, so Paul, imagine this, that you're in a course and you want to really chart your own progress through the course. And so this feature is really about part of the progression. So you'll see perhaps you're 10% complete, 20%, 15%. And so
Yeah.
all the different elements contribute to the wider student having an understanding of their completion in the course.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm hoping that helps as well.
Yes, thanks for that, Dr. Hill. And Dr. Hill is so correct because you have tags for each section in your course, whether it is a topic, a week, or whatever, however you design your course. Students, once you set the activity completion, the activities that they need to complete, the system is going to calculate and give them a report for each section. So Dr. Hill said 10%, 15%, it gives them an idea of their performance and what they need to do. It's just about course organization. You organize your course in such a way that it is fully transparent and it also lowers the barrier, all right, for the student as well, because they can come at the midway into the course and tell you that I did not know I had to do so and so. But when you set activity completion, when they go into the course site, they will see everything that they need to do. Where am I? Okay, so once you turn activity completion on, you will then see at the bottom of your page, we'll go to that demo soon, but I want to clear up all these things before we go. You will then hit save. All right, when you hit save, now is the opportunity for you to add your questions. And you have to click the questions tab, okay, at the top of the quiz when you're in quiz. When you click this button, this link, sorry, you navigate to the add drop-down link. You click on that and then it will review 3 options for you. You can add a new question, you can pull one from a question bank, or you can select a random question, which is also pulling from a bank. Yeah. So creating questions for Moodle quizzes from Microsoft Word, Notepad, TextEdit. So this is something I'm sure some of you would like to know before we go to the demo. could I use my physical my Word document multiple choice test and just simply upload it? Yes, but there's always a but. You need to format it in a specific way for the system to acknowledge the format of the quiz. All right. So this is a really good way to create your multiple choice quizzes. It could be true, false as well. All right. You may not get too much options for drag and drop and so on, but when it comes to multiple choice itself, you can import it directly into Moodle test bank, question bank, sorry, by selecting this option, and we'll do that today. All right, but the option is there, it's there for you. So in case anybody was wondering about merging or updating, this is the option. All right, so you have to format the questions. I will come back to this format after we do the demo of what was discussed earlier. So before we go to the demo, any questions? Any questions?
There's a
Let me
question
know.
in the chat.
Okay, thanks for that. So in the chat, can you use documents created in Google Docs? Well, Google Doc is a text editor, so yes, but if it's tests, try to make sure, if it's a quiz, try to make sure that nobody else have access to these Google Docs or anything like that. You wanna follow all other protocols, all protocols observed. You wanna do that. But yes, you can.
Java, the
Mhm.
you can is a bit tricky, because
Mhm.
that ACM format is very brutal. If you don't follow the procedures, it will never upload.
That's why I'm here.
No, I meant if the document does not subscribe to the format in the choice form, it throw it back out. You spend a lot of time going back and forth until you follow.
Yeah, I know. So we will clear up some of that. But yes, you can definitely still do that. Still upload a text document using that format and have all your questions uploaded, imported. So let's go to a test course. Any other questions before we move on?
I heard Paul mention the Aiken format. Why does he prefer that format over the others? Or is that format, some persons find that GIFT, for example, might be simpler or easier, but I know that you might be going in formats in terms of the templates or the, when they upload in for different persons. So I don't
As
know.
for me or for Paul?
No, for Paul to share. I mean, he mentioned it. So,
Oh, okay.
and I do know different persons use different formats and there are reasons why they would use it. Some are easier. Yeah. Ronis is saying, please show me how to use the GIFT format. So Ronis is asking for the GIFT format. Why do you want the GIFT format over the other format, Ronis? That's an important thing to know. Because obviously it will inform.
Well, good morning, colleagues, if I can truly speak. Thanks, Dr. Hill. So we were exposed to the Aiken format, and I think that is where Dr. Ash is going. That's what we were exposed to. But another of my colleagues mentioned the GIFT format the other day, and it took me a little while to sort of concretize what was happening. So now I hear you mentioning it. It would, really be great to sort of expose us to it, because that's the same thing that she said. You do the hard work first, but it's easy to, upload to Moodle. So certainly I would love to, see how that is done.
Okay, well, Ronis?
Yes, it is.
Ronis. Thanks for that. So unfortunately, my session today, the session does not focus on that format. We could have in the intermediate quizzes workshop, we could look at that format. It's only going to focus on the ACAN or ICAN. It's supposed to be ACAN format. Because based on my experience, I think once you have a good understanding of this format, the ACAN format, you can now progress to the different formats. So you get an understanding of how things work, and also you would know and you would learn from experience, trial and error, that if you just leave one full stop out, things would not work out for you. And that in itself is a learning experience. So you're moving from the simple to the complex. All right. Based on my experience, I think that the ACAN format is the starting point. So unfortunately, I don't have the time to go too much into it. I didn't have anything planned for the gift format. Also, I am not fully competent in using that format as well, and I don't want to mislead anybody. Yeah. So my apologies, but I will work on that for you, and we'll definitely run another session. Where am I? Okay, so we are in a course, and the first thing that we need to do is turn editor on. Right, let me know. Right, so turn edit on. And as you can see, once you turn edit on, you will get all these edit icons, the pencil icons. And we did talk about locating that. Now, this is a test course, so I have a lot of things all over the place. This is not an ideal layout for your courses. Please don't have students scrolling to find information. All right. But you have to locate this button, add an activity or resource, to reveal the pickup. And then we select quiz. Now you can filter between activities and resources. All right. So activities, quiz, sorry. And you have to give the quiz a name, provide a description here. My internet is lagging a little bit. Let's go to the timing. Okay, so here it is. So this is the editor. Now the editor has updated. We updated Moodle, and the editor is a little bit different. I like it. You have more options, but that's for another time. But I'll let you know quickly that previously in the older version, you had to click an arrow pointing down on the left of the editor to reveal more. Now you have to select this button, reveal or hide additional toolbar items, to reveal more options. All right. You can actually pop out as well into full screen. You didn't have that option. You had to drag, hold, and resize here only. But you can now pop out, which is, I think, awesome. Timing. So we spoke about timing. You said that. Grade. We did not set up our grade book. So you would not see any categories here. Before the session ends, please remind me to show you where you go and how to do that quickly. I like that. I like to make sure the gradebook is set up in a way that it is easy for me and for the student to know the different categories and how the weighting is distributed. The grade to pass, 100%, how many attempts you want, unlimited, and then you can tell the system which grade to keep. You keep in the highest grade, the average, the first attempt, or the last attempt. Layout, we spoke about layout. Every question on a new page. Behavior, Shuffle questions, deferred feedback. I'm going to leave as is. Review options. I'm leaving it as is because we did talk about what these things can do. Parents, safe browser. I'm going all the way down. So restrict. Yes, BJ, you go ahead.
Morning, everyone. So
Morning.
can it possible to shuffle within the options?
Sorry?
Can it possible to shuffle within the options? Suppose that we have a B, C, D options. So can we make it shuffle within the options?
I'm not quite understanding the question.
Oh, okay.
So
suppose that we
shuffle
are
the ABC. Yeah. So this is what this is here. Shuffle within questions. So the questions will be shuffled, and the responses, the options will be shuffled. Now, you will see when we do the format, the Aiken format, I do have some tips. But as you ask the question, please do not, when creating your quizzes, put A, B, C, or D. The system is going to automatically do that for you, and it will shuffle for you. Now, if you have A, Monday, B, Tuesday, C, Wednesday, D, Thursday, you enter that, you type that in the responses part of the quiz. Even though it's shuffled, students are still going to see A. They might see D first, D, Thursday. You get the point? And they can still collaborate, and they would know which response is A, B, C, D, and all of these different things. And it's going to be a messy situation as well. So don't do that. Don't put 1, 2, 3, 4. Don't add A, B, C, D, etc. Just put the response only.
Thank you.
Yeah, BJ, no problem. Where am I? All right, so completion conditions. All right, so there's the activity completion. You change the word in. All right, so you have that there. And I'm going to now save and display.
Can you hear me?
Very faint.
Okay, I'm not sure what's happening with my. Can you hear me now?
Yes, loud and clear.
Right. Just feeling that shuffle though. I know you're not getting the detail. That only works well though. That only works well in cases where you're not using the option none of the above, because it will then become an absurd situation if that none of the above becomes your first choice.
Yeah. So that is something I need to experiment. I'm not sure how that will work. Anybody here ever create questions with none of the above, and is it shuffled and none of the above always stays at the last option?
I've had the experience, and I've had to go back.
Oh, we lost you.
Sorry, I'm saying I've had the experience, and I've had to.
Right.
I caught it first.
All your audio is fluctuating significantly.
Yeah. But I think what he's saying, guys, is that he had the experience where he used that format, and the last option, sorry, none of the above, is being shuffled. So you have to be careful. If you have questions with that, thanks for that though, Paul. I appreciate that a lot. So if you have questions like that, you may want to probably recreate the question or turn off the shuffle option, the feature. Am I correct, Paul? You could give me a thumbs up, or you could message in the chat.
Yes, sir. Absolutely
Okay.
correct.
Okay, Paul, thanks so much. Appreciate that. All right. Questions. So now we are creating a question. Let's go to questions. So here, you click on questions, and now you have the option to add a question. And remember, when setting up the quiz, I did put the maximum grade as 100, so it is here. All right. Let's add a new question. And since we are talking a lot about multiple choice, let's go to multiple choice, add. All right. Good, so you give the question a name. So this name is very important for you when creating a test bank, because the bank could pull various questions from a naming convention or category convention. So you can do that. So this name could be something related to, it could be the topic you're testing, a concept, or whatever. You provide that here. Now you put the question. This is where you put the question. And you don't do this. You don't put question 1 and then you type question. Don't do that. I'm supposed to have a document that I can just copy and paste. It's gonna take too long. So you can put the question here. What is whatever? And you have the question status ready or draft. Okay, so while you're working, you could come back. You can keep it in draft. I'm going to keep it ready for now. And the default points, you can put how many points students are going to get for this one question. If it's 5 out of the 100 points, you can do that. It's up to you. If it's 1, it's up to you. Good, so now you have general feedback. We did talk about providing feedback. Let's see what Moodle is telling us. So this general feedback, sorry, I can't highlight it. The general feedback is shown to the student after they have completed the question. This is not like the specific feedback, right? Which depends on the question type, etc. So the general feedback would be the feedback after. And you can give students feedback on how, like a fully, sorry, I'm seeing it here, where is it? Fully worked answer, and perhaps a link to more information, a link to the actual course content in myeLearning. You can do so much. Because again, remember, assessment is supposed to help students, right? We want to help them. Multiple choice, let's scroll down now to one or multiple answers. So you can have a question with multiple answers allowed, or one answer only. I'm going to keep it here for one answer only. Hey, Paul, you still here with us?
Yes, sir. I'm not leaving or forsake you at this point.
Look at this. Look at this. I forgot about this completely.
I've seen it.
Right. So let's say you have one question in particular with none of the above. This is going to help with that. So you can turn off shuffle the choices and keep your none of the above as the last choice.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is cool. I totally forgot about that. So number of choices. This is how it will be presented to the students. Remember, I said don't type that in your responses, in your choices for them. Sorry. But you can let the system use the automatic numbering of the choices. I don't like that. Keep it no numbering. That's up to you. That's my personal feeling towards it, guys. I don't use it. I just don't use it. I think keeping things very simple is always the best way to go when it comes to creating quizzes, creating instructional media, etc. Keep it very basic, less is more. Show standard instructions, it's up to you, but let's go now to the choices. So here you can provide the choices. Now, I did mention that it's not always all about text. So you can have a choice as a recorded audio, a video, an image, whatever, all right? But for the sake of the demo, we're just gonna put some text here. So this is choice 1, and you have the grade for choice 1 set as none. That's because this choice is an incorrect choice. Let's say choice 2 is the correct answer. I need to now flag that as the correct answer by putting the weight. So since it's just one correct answer, you select 100%. All right. Now, if I had this option on, one or multiple answers allowed, I would want to distribute the weighting for this answer, for this question appropriately. So let's say I have 2, I would select 50%, and so on and so forth. Is that clear? Just put another answer. Thanks, Vanita. So where am I? Choice 3, choice 4, set it as none. Thanks, Kieran. And then you have 5. And if you have more than 5, if you want more than 5 choices, you simply click blanks for 3 more choices. All right. And you can further drill down on your feedback, providing more options. Your answer is correct, your answer is partially correct. You can take time to do this. Now, I would say if you are really thinking about students and you're being fully student-centered, and this quiz is all about improving students' performance, utilize these features, combined feedback. Now, you don't need to spend all of the time thinking about a response. You can use AI as your teaching assistant, as your quiz assistant to help you come up with these feedback responses quickly. All right. Yeah, I would do that because, I mean, you have a lot going on. Multiple tries, you can set the limits for that, and then tags. But let's keep it basic for today. You have your question, you have your choices, you have your correct answer, and then you select save changes. So I am supposed to have just one question in my test, my quiz. Good. I can preview. And this is how it will be presented to the student. So they have the question, and then you have the choices. Right? And they can only select one. Good. Any questions regarding this? Add in a question.
Javid, I think I missed the part where you're first introducing the multiple choice questions.
Okay, no problem. We'll do a quick run through.
That's the first thing where you enter where you get
So
into
when-
multiple choice.
Okay, good. So after you've set up your quiz, we went through all of that.
Yeah.
This is when you hit save, the next window would be questions.
Right.
And if for some reason you click quiz and you come back out of this view, or settings, my system moving a little slow. All right. You can just click questions to go to the add question option, right?
Okay, okay.
So now you're gonna click add. See in the link here? So you click add new question. Do I need
Right.
to go on? Do I need to go through the instructions again? The
Oh,
demo
no,
before?
no.
Okay, good. All right. I can even edit the total points for the question here. I can put 2 if I want.
Okay.
All right, you can do that. And you have the option now to pull a question from the question bank. So I have a question bank here. And I can select from the question bank. So I know you're worrying or probably thinking or want to ask a question about how do I get my question bank. We will do that shortly. We'll get that here for you quickly after this part of the demo. So I can pull these questions and then add to my quiz by clicking add selected questions to quiz. All right. Good. Now, and I have more questions here added from my question bank, and I can, of course, I can delete if I don't want. I can edit the points. I can also edit the question by clicking the edit icon. And I also have the option to add a random question from, remember we spoke about naming your items and categories. I can pull from various courses. So I can pull a question randomly, or I can add from, I can intentionally add a question from a different category, okay? I can create a new category and add a random question if I want as well. So those are the options you have. I want to now navigate. If you have no questions regarding adding a question, setting up your quiz and adding a question, I would go now to the Aiken format. So we can at least have a starting point to adding uploading a quiz from a Microsoft Word document or building a test bank. Adding a test bank. No questions?
One question, Java.
Yeah. Yes. Go ahead.
0.5 and maximum grade 100. Was that just an example? Because normally it should align.
Yes, yes. That's an example.
Okay.
Yeah. It's best for it to be aligned, but I'm just adding randomly so you would know where the options are. All right, now I didn't talk about this other shuffle. So this shuffle option here in questions will shuffle the ordering of the questions that presented for each student. That's another mechanism you can employ in having students, well, reduce the chances of them collaborating. Yeah, because a student question 1 may not be the same for another student if you enable this option. Yeah. So can we take a 3-minute break, a water break, a bathroom break? I'm going to do that before we go into the Aiken format. If you have questions in the meantime, feel free to ask. So let's take a 3-minute break.
Javed, I'm going to pause this session. Record it, right?
Thanks, bro. Share your... You all are hearing me, right?
Yes, loud and clear.
All right.
Yes.
Good. All right, so I'm going to share in the chat before we move on, and just in case I lose connectivity and for some reason can't get back in, I'm going to share a document with everything that was said before. So you have all my notes, all my resources for this session. I will also share, after the session, I will share the slides, okay? And you will also, of course, have access to the recording when we upload it. Chat. Fine. I'm going to give you two documents. One that we will not be talking about in this recorded session, but it's useful if you feel like going down that route. It is called using artificial intelligence to create a multiple choice question. Yeah, I did put that together. It's very short. It's there as a resource, supplemental resource. Let me know if you're seeing it in the chat. Two documents.
It's there.
Seen it? Okay, good. Nice. All right, so Eken, let's do this. Thanks for the help. Okay. Nice. So we are now going to look at formatting your question for upload or import it into myeLearning from a Word document. We're keeping it simple, Word document. You can use the Google document as well. All right. But what is very important is the formatting of these questions. And I'm telling you, you get it one time, two times correct, you'll be a pro. You'll be able to do this moving forward. You just need to practice. So here on the screen, you have to first write your question clearly, concisely, on one line, one single line. Do not hit enter unless that question is like a paragraph. But most times, I don't know, most times it's supposed to be one sentence, all right, on one line. The other thing you need to do is answers with labels. So now in the formatting of questions in your Word document, this is where you label your questions A, B, C, D, and it must be in capital format. So you have to, in uppercase format, you have to make sure that you have A in capital, capitalize, A capitalize, D, etc. Followed by a period or closing or brackets. Now, this is here because you have this option. I'm telling you, don't worry about this part. Only focus on followed by a period, and you will see exactly what it looks like. Okay, so you will have your question on one line, your answers labeled, followed by a period. And then you want to separate each answer on a line. So you have A, B, C, D on its in its own line. And then you have the answer on a separate line at the bottom. What does that look like? Looks like this. So you have your question on one line. Here's your question. Do not, if you're running out of space or so for some reason you hit enter, don't try not to do that. And then you have your options or your answers here for students to choose. You carefully label it. So you have A, full stop or period, and then the answer. So A dot space answer, B dot space answer, so on and so forth. Then you have the answer at the bottom of your answers, the correct answer, typed as answer, colon, B. Let me say that again. Answer in full caps, colon, space, B. This is the format. This is, once you keep this format, you're good to go. And I'll tell you, again, let me make this clear. You can use AI to help you with this format, but I would recommend doing that for drill and practice exercises. I would recommend you using AI to help you with the formatting for very, very low stakes quizzes, because your business will be on the site. All right, so you want to maintain all protocols, okay? But you have that option. If you want to quickly create a quiz and upload it, you can use AI. You can follow the document that we have there in the chat, and you will get the instructions for both the ACAN format and for using AI. Now, some things to note. Make sure both answer and the answer letters are capitalized. I did say that. So the answer letter, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, is capitalized, and the word answer is also capitalized. Otherwise, the import might fail. Am I correct, Paul? You still here with us?
You're the resident expert, Java.
No. Well, I know you probably tried it out, and I'm just checking to see if you ran into any errors when doing this, if you ever were doing it actually.
I have already used multiple choice for 9 years, sir, so you're the expert. You're
All right,
correct.
Paul.
You're absolutely correct, sir. Absolutely correct.
Yeah. So if you forget this full stop, things can get messed up. Because I've had cases where I had to go into person's quizzes and search for the error, look for that error, and most times it's either the caps issue or the period, the colon. So keep that in mind. Do not number your questions. All right, don't number your questions. Just for your multiple choice, you're going to use A, B, C, D, answer B. When you're done, you're going to save as plain text. Use the save as function, all right, in Microsoft Word. So you go save as, and then you select plain text file. Once you do that, you're going to now go to myeLearning, and you can import the quiz. To do that, you go to your quiz, you click question bank, select import, then you select ACAN format and upload. We're going to do that. Okay, we are going to do that.
Java,
Yes.
is there an option you have to use in terms of the file itself?
Yes. It's here. So save as plain text file. So that's a .txt format.
No, within that, within the options, I think it's something to do with 8 or 9. I can't remember which it was. In terms of the particulars of the file itself. Anyways,
You
it's
mean
okay. Go ahead. Continue.
when importing?
No, when you're saving the file, in order for it to work properly. But anyway, let me not complicate the matter. I'm gonna find it and come back to you.
Okay. So I have my Word document here. And this is the format. I'm just going to copy it straight from the slide. All right, but let me verify that I have my question. You don't want to get technical with quizzes, the terminologies for each part. But you have your question on a separate line. I have my answers labeled A, B, C, D in caps with a period, space. All right, I have all of that. Then I finally look at the answer. It's in all caps. Oh, sorry, this is too small. So I have the answer in all caps, colon, space, and the correct answer. Then you go to File, Save As. I have so many things. You're going to select the option. What was the option again, guys? Somebody help me. I can't remember.
Plain text.
In text. Plain text.
Plain text, yeah.
All right, so plain text. Let's try plain text. Save. Right, and then you just hit OK. Now Moodle, don't embarrass me. Just make sure I'm still logged in because I got bumped out. And I am still logged in. Okay. So now I have to go. Let me pull back up the slide just so that you can see where we go. So you're going to, after you save your file as plain text file, you're going to now import that multiple choice quiz. Right, so you go into your quiz and you're going to click question bank, select import, and then you have to select this option, the ACAN format. Right, good, let's do that. So here I am going to select question bank. Import. Okay, let me turn this up, this back on for you. Good. So you are here in your quiz. You set up your quiz, you have your questions or not, but you want to upload a Word document quiz. You click on question bank. And from the options located at the left, now if you already have a question bank, of course, when you click question bank, it's going to pull up your question bank, right? And you can choose questions from here as well. But you can now load a new or import a new question bank by selecting import. Then you select ACAN format. All right. I leave all of these as is, and then I select import. Still, oh, still, come on, internet. Could somebody tell me why I'm not getting the to the next step?
You have to choose the file first.
Ah, yes, exactly. Sunflower moment. All right, so here's the file in my downloads. This is where I saved it. That's funny, right? Farina, that's funny.
Yeah, because I've
That's
had that happen a
hilarious.
few times. That's why I know you have to choose it first.
You know why? Because you're so worried about whether or not it's going to work that you just focus on yeah. Anyways, so what is the capital of Trinidad? That's my file. Open. Save as, you give it a name. Upload this file and then import. So it's importing one question from the file. This is the question. Continue. And I have that now added to my, need to search for it. What is the capital of Trinidad? It's here. And all I need to do is pull that question. All right, I can pull that question or questions from this option. All right, and bring it into the quiz, or I like to keep things simple. I will go back to the questions and then select add from question bank. And then I search for my question. What is the capital of Trinidad and Tobago? Well, of course, if it's a question bank, you're going to have more than one. But for the sake of the session, I'm just having that one question. I'm going to click add and then add question to quiz. And that's it. Let's do a preview. Yeah. Can I select just one? Yes. All right. And let's make sure, well, in edit, let's make sure that the correct answer is the correct answer. So it's one answer only. Internet. But I did see it before it disappeared. Port of Spain was here and it's at 100%. Apologies. All right, so yes. I think this is very simple and straightforward. But again, you need to practice. Multiple answers quiz. Vanita, yes, but I have not tried it personally. And this is something I should do. I haven't tried it, but yes. So you at the bottom here, you have answer B. I think it's colon C colon D. I need to verify because I haven't done that. I haven't done that in a while. But it can happen.
Okay, thanks so much.
Yeah. We could test that after the session if you want.
One question, Javed. Could you do a whole paper, a whole exam paper, and load it directly into the questions without going into the bank first? I just upload up a whole.
Yeah.
Like
no, well, you have to add it to your you need to import it into your question bank.
You can't import it directly into the questions.
I think what Neil trying to ask Javed is if we create an entire question paper formatted on Word, and could we import all of those questions as Word into the bank?
No.
Like multiple questions.
Or not necessarily the bank as the exam.
From here.
Exam, yeah.
From here.
Yeah, directly into here.
No, because just now.
Well, you have to.
Right. You have, yeah. So listen, when you are setting up your questions now, or selecting your questions, creating your questions, you only have these options. A new question, which is what we focused on earlier, then from the question bank, and then a random question, which is also from the question bank. So the system, I think, is designed to upload that quiz into the question bank and then pull it.
Okay.
But when you have your question bank, you can search for the different categories. Now, I don't have much, I don't teach, so I don't really have much categories set up. I just have tests all over the place in different courses. So you can probably just pull an entire quiz as a test that you have from a different course as well, and bring it into this quiz or questions. So you have multiple pathways, but that option you're talking about there, I don't think it's available.
Java?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what I'm referring to is the encoding. It has to be in UTF-8. You see, we use very simple characters, so you don't have a problem. But if you have some other complicated characters and you import it as we imported it, we will encode it as a UTF-8 file. You may have some issues in terms of display.
Oh, yeah. So people who teaching like those sciences and you have equations and all of that you're talking about?
Absolutely correct.
Yeah. But I don't want to confuse the group. That's an advanced session. But yes, that can happen. So you need to really and truly be mindful of the type of quiz you're creating and the items.
Javid, excuse me. Would it be possible that question that was asked concerning uploading an entire exam, right? Would it be possible to create a separate bank for that particular exam, a question bank?
Yes.
Okay, so in that way you would have,
Yes.
and you would not need to go to pull from a wider bank. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So you would need to set up your categories, and name your banks and all of that. You can have you're taking me down different avenue. Hold on. So you have, so even before you set up your quiz, you could load your question bank. Yeah. Don't have any. Yeah, I don't have any, but you can do that. You can do that. I cannot show you right now. Okay, so I just have this one default category of questions. So you can have your different categories or different test banks, and you can pull an entire quiz. Once you label, you just need to make sure and label everything correctly. I am so sorry, I'm unable to show you that right now. All right, so I did promise that the session would be short, but we went on. Yeah, we went on, but it is scheduled to end at 10. No, not to start at 10 and end at 12. Let me stop share. If you have no questions, we can wrap up. If you would like for me to go over some of the areas or any other things that you want to test, we could stay on and do that. I want to thank you so much for attending the session. I hope that I was able to, at least get you started with quizzes. And now I know for sure that Settle needs to plan an advanced quizzes session because you all are doing a lot now. And I want to definitely be able to provide that opportunity for you all to look at those advanced features. All right, so thanks so much everybody for attending. You will receive a notification, an email notification to provide feedback for the session. Please do that. It's not what we are accustomed using, a full form. It may just be 1 or 2 questions, and you select from a rating, and you can add a comment. So please do that. It's going to help us improve. Feel free to also include some of the areas in that, because we do look at those results. We do look at the evaluation. Please feel free to include some of the things that you want to see for the next session. All right. Yes, the recording will be uploaded on our YouTube channel. All right, so stay tuned for that. As soon as we edit and upload, you will have access to it. Any questions before we leave? I'll stay online, but thanks again so much. Farina, thanks for coming. At least you get a good laugh, right?
Thanks very much for the information, Sif. Truly appreciate it.
No problem, no problem. Happy to help.